We are joined today by Bangladeshi social entrepreneur, banker, economist, and recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for founding the Grameen Bank and pioneering the concepts of microcredit and microfinance. And by the way, someone who has a very nice, strong connection to Switzerland.
Yes,
Muhammad Yunus,
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Your award of the Nobel Peace Prize in 2006 really put microfinancing on the world map.
That's right.
Meanwhile, 12 years later, we're using terms like impact investing and sustainable finance. I mean, is this a bit of a rebranding of what you were doing before you received the prize?
No, it's not rebranding. This is a completely different thing, impact investing and other things. The point that I've been making all along, financial services to the poor people is like providing them economic oxygen. If we don't have oxygen, we cannot breathe. Right. We collapse, so we cannot function, become dysfunctional. So that's what happens when you don't give economic oxygen to people. They cannot breathe, they cannot be active, they collapse, and we call them poor people.
Yes.
The moment you connect them with the financial oxygen, they become alive, active, creative, and take care of themselves. Okay. And that's so vital. But suddenly, we notice the whole entire financial system doesn't have anything to do with them. They distance themselves from the poor people. That's where our struggle came, create a bank for the poor people called Grameen Bank, provide financial services to them. And it became known, that's where the Nobel Peace Prize came. But after all these years, has the financial system changed? No, still the same. So you hear about microcredit. Microcredit has remained a footnote in the financial system.
You really feel like this?
Absolutely.
It's not moved forward. But why do you think that is?
Because people think that this is not their job. The bank don't think this is their job. Their job is to finance the big companies and big persons and so on and so forth.
So their job is not to be this oxygen.
Absolutely. Their job is not to provide the oxygen. That's what we did. We tried to draw attention to it. I said the reason they don't do it because the design of the bank itself. It's not the fault of the people who are working there. The whole bank is designed as a bank for the rich. So everything that is done there is all geared towards rich. So what we did, we created a bank for the poor. All the rules, all the procedures are completely different than the conventional banks. Actually, it's the reverse of the conventional business. And we could do that. And only thing we do, we lend money to the poor people, nothing else. They don't lend money to the poor people. We don't lend money to the rich people. So this is exclusively poor people. When that kind of institution are created, only then it becomes a financial institution, continuous for the whole people.
Well, then what about the social entrepreneurs that are part of the impact investing landscape?
Social entrepreneurs are, the way it is described, is something you do business, make profit, also have social angle to it. You mix the social and the profit.
And is this not a good thing, or yes?
It's a good thing, better than exclusively profit, because most of the companies are exclusively profit. This is a mixture of profit and social. What we are promoting all along, what we call social business, it is exclusively social. No profit at all.
You don't make money?
Not personal money. No personal money at all.
Okay.
So it's all 100% devoted to changing people's life, solving the problem, environmental problem, human problem, healthcare problem, you name it, housing problem, drug problem. We create business to solve this with no intention of making personal benefit out of it. The reason we say that, human being is not just the way theory says, is driven by self-interest, meaning that human beings are selfish people. I said, no, that's not true. Human beings are both selfish and selfless. But theory has blocked out the selfless part of it, only used the selfish part of it. As a result, we became the way we are. We are always wearing glasses with dollar sign. We see only dollar, nothing else. I said, that's what the wrong thing was. That's not human being. You blinded the human being by putting that glasses. I'm talking about bifocal glasses. You have the dollar sign as well as you have the global sign. You can do both.
Well, that's, I mean, but isn't this the principle behind impact investing? I mean, that you can do good and make money?
Absolutely.
You can do both.
It's a mixture. In the same company, same business, you're mixing them. What I'm saying, divide it up.
Okay.
Make
You're
it exclusive.
saying it needs to be
Yes, when you mix it, the problem of mixing, I will share with you, the problem of mixing, you don't know how much of profit and how much of social. It may be 99% social, 1% profit, or the reverse, 99% profit, 1% social. You may start with the 99% social, but along the way switch to the 99% profit. We don't know. So it's better clean. You're 100% social.
The issue is then transparency, a lack of transparency.
Absolutely. You know that, and not only transparency, all the logic of personal profit is gone, finish. You're not interested. You're not in the stock market to begin with. Because the stock market cannot evaluate you anymore. Because the stock market wants a return. You don't give any return. It's a zero return, zero personal return.
Zero return.
Company makes profit, profit is plowed back into the business. It's not for me. So that way you know exactly what you're doing. Your minds are very clear, uncluttered by the profit idea, uncluttered by the logic and the terminology of the profit. You are always seeing how much benefit you are doing to the people, where you are solving the people. If you want to create a social business to solve the problem of unemployment, only thing you do, how many young people got out of unemployment, became them entrepreneurs, or they became job seekers, whatever it is. But that's what your intention.
I want to talk more about the unemployment in just a few minutes, but just to finish up on that thought, I mean, there's also the World Bank is expressing concern about this impact washing. A little bit to your comment on the lack of transparency.
You cannot escape that.
You can't.
You cannot escape that. You may say all the good things about it to begin. The next day and the next day you'll be switching on. You'll be drifting into something else, because market will say, no, you need a little bit more return. Can you give me a little bit more return?
Yes,
you can do all the social you want, but give me more return.
Give me more,
The market is unforgivable. They don't want anything else but that kind of pound of flesh.
But microfinancing, to be fair, has not been without controversy.
Yes, indeed.
You know, it's also had its challenges.
Yes,
I mean, if we look at things like, risk, for example, something that's come up a lot in recent years is the child labor in the supply chain, for example.
Sure. It's all possible. Microcredit is a word which has been used for everybody, everything. Even the loan sharks call themselves microcredit. Now you go to the loan sharks, say, you're doing microcredit, so loan sharks are bad, so microcredit is bad. It's use of the terminology. We created microcredit as a social business. Remember what I said about social business? A business to do good things for people without any intention of making a penny out of it for yourself. They drifted it. They want to make money. They want to make investment, and the impact investment. They want to make more investment to make money, and they want to go to the stock market to make more money out of it. I said, you change the completely thing. So as long as you remain the pure social business microcredit, you have no problem. In social business, you don't want to create child labor. There's no reason to create child labor. You are helping person to become entrepreneur. That's the whole purpose of it. And now in the name of microcredit, you're giving consumption loan, making them suffer because now the companies come to sell things to them by the microcredit so that they can make money.
At exorbitant interest rates.
And exorbitant interest rate. At the same time, you cannot afford those things. You don't afford those televisions. You don't afford those refrigerators. But they say, no problem. You don't have to pay a penny. All you have to do is sign here. Everything will be done. So these are the track of the trends of the profit-making world. So you put the profit-making world into the microcredit area. That's where it got derailed.
That's where, okay, I was going to ask you, where did your dream with Grameen Bank go a different way?
The wrong way. That's why we've been talking about all the microcredit, so-called microcredit institutions make big money, floating IPO in the New York stock market. These are the wrong microcredit. We said they shouldn't even use the word microcredit. Today, I keep reminding people there's a right microcredit, there's absolutely wrong microcredit. So you have to draw that line, which one is the right microcredit and what is the wrong microcredit. So if you bring all the examples of wrong microcredit, I keep my mouth shut. I said, I cannot say anything because I'm the one criticizing them. So I don't need you to remind me that.
Right. Well, in your mind, then, earlier you said that the microfinancing has remained a footnote. I mean, how mature is the industry for you now? Is it?
It's gone. It's a global. That word is familiar. Its abuse is familiar. But we have created beautiful instances everywhere along with that. And like we have Grameen America, for example. Grameen America now has 20 branches in 12 cities in the United States with over 100,000 women as a recipient.
Yes, now that you bring up women, I mean, the empowerment of women has always been...
It's amazing.
a big part of the model.
The wrong microcredit, forget all those social issues about the women, about the children, about the healthcare, about everything that we did mixed.
Is this still central to the microfinancing world?
Absolutely.
The empowerment of women and children?
I'm just giving the example with the United States. 100% of them are women, not just 97% as in Bangladesh. 100% women. And women who, most of them, do not have any documents. These are undocumented women. So imagine undocumented women taking loans, paying back with the record of last 10 years, 99.5% and above. Yeah, no documentation, no legal issues, nothing of the sort. And it's not only in one city, New York City. New York has 7 branches, and every other city in Miami, in Houston, in Los Angeles, and Omaha, Nebraska, you name it.
It's not just something you associate with the developing world.
No, it's about the poverty. I'm not talking about the poverty. I'm saying people who are rejected from the system. That rejection part is almost half the population of the entire world. It's not a tiny thing. They're the most desperately needing that financial oxygen for them. Still, system doesn't work for them. After all the proof that we have provided again and again, not only in Bangladesh, even the richest country in the world, the United States, saying that they can take, their startup loan is about $1,500. With $1,500, they're desperate to take it to change their own life with their own effort. And make that and pay back every penny, cover all the costs. Every branch of Grameen America is sustainable financially. Imagine that. So what's wrong? Why don't you pay attention to this?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you.
You tell me. You are the CNN money, so you tell me.
I wish I had an answer for you. Sure. I really do. No. Earlier, you were talking about the U.S., what's happening there. But, you know, in Switzerland, it's become a leading country in microfinance funds. Yeah. You've got responsibility managing millions, billions. Blue Orchard has a $2 billion fund in microfinancing alone. What's driving the effort here in Switzerland?
I appreciate that. I appreciate all the work they have done. But again, just as a note of caution to everybody, is it the right microcredit or is it the wrong microcredit? Number one. Is it something sustainable that you do? Is it something doing it to extremely poor people? Are you also not saying that somebody who can hire somebody, that's a part? Because you don't know where the limit is, you see? We use the word, then confuse everybody. So that's what, I'm sure you're doing good work. But my point is, again, that doesn't change the banking system. A bank giving some money for microcredit is not banking for the poor people. You create the bank only for this purpose. Then you know that you took the challenge. Otherwise, you deal with billions of dollars. You gave $1 billion out of it. That doesn't solve the problem. It's the solution of the problem that all the people who are rejected from the system now are connected. As I said, you connect them with the financial oxygen, they become alive. And you can imagine how many millions, even billions of people who are not connected. Yeah. That's the challenge. Yeah. And definitely Switzerland can play a leading role in it. Okay. Saying we created the first first bank for the poor in Switzerland as a demonstration. And we can do it for Europe. A bank for the poor is exclusively for the poor. It doesn't do any business with anybody else. And it's self-sustaining. It takes deposits and lend money. Money doesn't have to come from somebody else, somewhere else. Money is right there. We live in the ocean of money. Simply poor people cannot get a sip out of this. That's the problem. We do not connect it, a connection point. So if you create a bank, then it takes a deposit, and deposit is given as a loan. It's a self-sustaining institution. It makes profit. Profit goes back to the borrowers if they are the shareholders of the bank, like in Grameen Bank. They are the shareholders of the bank, so profit goes back to them.
What is the role of something like technology then in advancing and helping move forward?
Yes, absolutely. It's fantastic. Now, it makes it easier. Right from the beginning with Grameen Bank, we use the technology as softwares and so on.
It's always part of, all
those. With it, now it becomes easy. Transfer of money becomes easy. We are always carrying bag full of money to come from the... And it's a risky thing to carry this money. And then we switch cash. Now in the entire Grameen America, it's all cashless transactions.
Okay.
So you all, with your mobile phone, you send the money. With your mobile phone, you receive your money. So you don't have to carry around, and you have all the records on your phone. You know what you're doing. So many other things can be done through that. So technology is a very powerful thing for microcredit. At the same time, I'm quickly add one word about the artificial intelligence, which this is the direction it's going.
Yes.
And I said I'm very afraid of the artificial intelligence.
Okay.
I'm very, very afraid of artificial
Why?
intelligence. Not in the context of microcredit. It's a global situation because it will push people out of jobs. Because everything we do, human beings does, they do better. As a result,
You really think so?
Well, that's
you really think that we would be obsolete?
That's the claim. You will no longer be needed in CNN. There will be artificial intelligence who will be interviewing me. And probably they will claim that they do a better job than we are human beings doing. So that's the risk. Then what happens to human beings? That's the question I'm puzzling. If they come out of our jobs, what do they do? Where do they eat from? What is their income? So these are the issues.
And this goes back to your theory that everyone is a natural entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur, that's what the direction we should go.
Which I still struggle with because I don't feel like an entrepreneur.
Because you're always told that you have to find the work, and you did find the work, and you're happy with that work. That's why you don't feel it. If we are,
because that's what I was told. That's why I feel like this.
If you right from the beginning in your family, your parents kept it like everybody else's family could tell the children, as you grow up, you have two choices.
Yes.
You can be an entrepreneur or you can find a job and do that. And child will come up with ideas, and you go to school, school says the same thing. There are two chances. You can become an entrepreneur or you can become a job seeker. Then we'll figure it out. Today, there is no choice for us. School told us that you have to have a job, and school tells us that we are producing job-ready young people. I said, that's a shame that we are producing job-ready. We should be life-ready young people rather than job-ready young people.
Life-ready young people. I like that.
Yeah.
I've interviewed actually a lot of entrepreneurs, and I always walk away with, it's also not easy to be an entrepreneur. It's not like everybody has
Not easy to get a job either. Nothing is easy. You get a job and you get fired. So
but it's not for everyone.
No. The failure is not everyone too.
Yeah.
We do the microcredit. In Bangladesh, to take one example, we have 9 million borrowers, 97% women, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
They start with business with $30, $20, and so on. And they continue. Or with the failures and the successes, they mix it up. Not that everyone is successful, but we create a financial institution which can take both failures and the successes, so that you don't feel that, oh, you're a defeated person. You're not a defeated person. Business means failure. It's part of the game. You fail once, you do it another one, and continue. And then you hit the jackpot and move on. That's what it is. So if you say business fails, you're seeing only a wrong part of business. Business is success, because it's a chain of success and failures.
It's all how you look at it.
It's part of life.
Yeah, it's all how you look at it.
Absolutely.
Now, so two of your main focuses have been, of course, poverty and employment, as we've talked about already. But now you've also focusing on the environment and on zero carbon emissions.
Zero carbon emission.
And how can microcredit help in that?
It's not microcredit. It's social
This is just something else.
Social business. Microcredit is one. You encourage people to use the thing. Like, for example, they can use solar energy rather than kerosene and so on. But you need a company to bring the solar energy. So we created a company in Bangladesh called Grameen Energy, to bring solar energy in the villages of Bangladesh, which never had any electricity in their life and never have an immediate prospect of getting it. So we did that, and we created some 22 years back. Now we have more than 4 million homes with the solar energy in Bangladesh, and people love it. It's affordable, but we didn't create the company to make money for ourselves. We could have made money for that. We created it to solve people's problem without any intention of having a penny for anybody that provided the money. That's it. So that's the idea of social business. And this is social business for the purpose of environmental. Remove the fossil fuel, kerosene, and bring the renewable, and people become familiar with the renewable. Now bring in more improved so that you can share your excess energy that you create in your home to participate with the energy that your neighbor needs and share it. And so many other things come there. And then the mobile phones, televisions, and everything, because that electricity. Without electricity, nothing is working. Now everything can work. So we will start from there. And many other things, wind power, biodigester, everything is a social business. You create social business. So the moment you focus business to solve problem specifically, then it gets solved. Why do we have all this problem of environment? Because business created them. It was not created by God, because financial institutions financed it. That's why we created it. So if financial institutions today says that we are not going to finance anything which is against the interest of the planet, it will be done, finished right away.
Right.
It's
Offsetting these carbon emissions is not enough.
Offsetting or closing down. Or offsetting is we'll build forestry. Now, most of the country is getting deforested. So we will build a new forestry. That's where our money will go, rather than financing fossil fuel-related things. Yeah.
Well, if I can bring it back to Switzerland for a moment, where Switzerland also makes a lot of progress on that front in terms of taking care of the environment. You're no stranger here. You come regularly to Davos, to the WEF every year, basically.
Yes, you did.
You've also set up the Yunus Social Business Center at EPFL.
That's right. Yes, we have a very strong relationship with that. Yeah. Young people love that. Yeah.
Young people, yes, that's what I was going to say. You're very close to this
them,
generation.
Also the International Olympic Committee, because we are now, Olympic Committee takes it very seriously, how to transform the sports world oriented towards social goals, rather than just have fun and also make money out of the sports. So we're saying it's a big power. Sports is a tremendous power. Right. It's a global power, but that power is not used for social issues.
So what are you recommending?
We are recommending that every club, every federation of sports, every Olympic can be social-oriented, like we're working with the Olympic 2024 in Paris. And that,
what are you doing?
You're doing what, for example, just to take one example, when you build the Olympic village, you always contract it out, somebody builds all those buildings, and when it's done, Olympic is over, you auction it off, that kind of thing. I said, no, you build these houses, Olympic village, for the homeless people, for the people who don't have housing in the area where it is building. And that's a design, everything will be designed like that, like a real village for the people who live here. And Olympic athletes will come here as a guest for 2 weeks. Okay. And they will be gone, the real people will be there, and there'll be housing, there'll be schools, the children, and shopping places, workplaces, and so on. So it's a complete village and fully.
And how are they responding? Are they?
They're responding. We're working together. This is their goal.
This is happening.
This is absolutely happening. They already called themselves Social Business Olympic Paris 2024. Okay. So it's an integrated part of it, and we are very much part of the designing and everything else.
So endeavors like this bring you regularly to our Alpine Kingdom.
Absolutely, with delight.
And this week?
Also this week with the GenX, which is the outcome of the conference. It's a conference that we will be attending at the Gregory Klein entertainment company. They organize that, and I'm one of the speakers there, so I'll be delighted to share my thoughts with the audience we have here tomorrow.
And earlier we touched just briefly on EPFL, but tell me what kind of, are you working on specific projects with them, with the students there?
First this is one of the, what we call Yunus Social Business Center. There are more than 60 Yunus Social Business Centers around the world in the universities.
This is the only one in Switzerland?
This is the only one in Switzerland. There are several in France and other countries, Germany and other countries. What they do, young people are oriented towards the social issues, and social business is explained. They get the idea how to create a social business, and they are challenged into designing a social business for a specific problem of housing, for example, or a problem of unemployment. How do you design a social business to address the problem of unemployment? How do you take welfare people out of welfare by designing a social business? Make it very attractive for them so that they gladly come out of welfare because they say, I'm an entrepreneur, why am I in this prison? Because nobody gave me a chance. Now I get a chance. I want to show it to them.
So you're encouraging them also to be entrepreneurs?
Absolutely. Everywhere. Across the board. Because this is built-in things. They can also create a business to create employment for the welfare people. That's also an option. I'm not denying that. But you can design something. For example, designing something to take 5 welfare people out of welfare by creating a business. It's not a rocket science. Anybody can do that. But we don't do that. That's why they stay there. I said, let's do that. Because we are not interested in making money for ourselves. We are interested only in to help people get out and feel proud that we have helped people to be truly human beings, relying on their own creative power and relying on their own initiative to take care of themselves. So that's a wonderful feeling. That's what we discuss in the social business centers, and we have seminars. Annually, we have social business summit
Yes.
Like this one, next one is coming in Ulsberg, Germany. And all the people who are involved in social business, they will be coming. And and then we have an academia conference. All the young people, all the faculty members who are teaching social business, they will be coming.
Mr.
So
Yunus.
that's what we do.
You're a very busy man. And just to finish it up, you know, you are out there inspiring and speaking to so many people. I'm just curious, where do you go when you need a little motivation, a little boost? What do you turn to?
Once you go there, see things happening, suddenly you get excited. It touches you. You don't need it from outside. See that people never thought it could be done. Now some young kid has done that. Like, for example, take 5 for welfare people out of welfare. If somebody has done that, look, they used to be in welfare, they were there for 10 years or 15 years. Now we created that, they're running, they're enjoying, and you talk to them, suddenly you feel rejuvenated, that recharged. I said, making money is a happiness. Making other people happy is a super happiness. So I continuously feed myself with super happiness. I enjoy it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mr. Yunus, for your insights and for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much.